jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Once again, you're tuned in to World Combat Sports, man. Hey, you know what it is. Great start to the week. Salute to the WCS supporters as always, man. You're much appreciated. Thanks for tuning in. Lil Flex, the first on deck, man. What it do? What's good with you? So you see the thumbnail, right? Let me see what's going on. Man, what's good, man? I don't know what was going on with this system doing the startup or whatever. But big salute to everyone that's in the building who support the channel and everything. And you know, today is Memorial Day for the fallen comrades, the service members, who lost their lives, whether it was in combat or in garrison. Um, you know, prayers and blessings to everyone who lost a service member. You know, whether it was active duty or retired. So prayers and blessings goes out to you. As you all know, you're looking at the thumbnail. This is a George Kambosos show, episode number 4. Lil Flex Lewis in the building. What's good with it? In the building, OG. Salute to you. So, I don't know if everyone. It's pretty much a done deal. It's out there in the media airwaves. The final presser. You know what I'm saying, between Devin Haney and George Kambosos. A presser that turned into something different outside of boxing. All right. And when I initially put this thumbnail up, I know it was one of the first that's up there. And I know I was the initial one that referred to him as George Kambosos. Before he even got back to the locker room good after that fight with Teofimo. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to the fight, I pretty much put it out there that this dude cannot be trusted. The reason why I was saying that is I had the opportunity to just see him. He was down here in the A, the way he was acting, the words he was saying, the platform shoes that he had on to make himself look taller. Everything that his language and everything was telling me this dude was up to no good. And then we started kind of putting the puzzle pieces together, this lightweight puzzle. We was trying to fix some things up to see what the picture looked like with him actually wanting to fight Devin Haney, right? And the reason why I bring this up is when Teofimo Lopez had the belts and everything, all the energy was projected at Teo to fight Devin. Well, that fight didn't happen. He ended up choosing his mandatory in George Kambosos for whatever reason, right? He chose his mandatory. And with the delays, it just became a disaster, y'all. It became a disaster. It looked very bright from the beginning, with them winning the purse bid and everything. Everything looked glorious. And it went downhill from there. I can look at it. It might have been two spirits at the time that just didn't, mesh together. Because it seems like both of these situations, Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos, a disaster. And then George Kambosos and Devin Haney is pretty much filtering some of that same negativity, right? And I totally blame that on freaking Kambosos, man. You showed us all the hands that we needed to see. We seen every card that you was gonna play. When you was trying to convince the people, you was gonna check out Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis and Vasyl Lomachenko. And I was letting people know, I'm telling you, this dude ain't checking out no Haney. He really want Vasyl Lomachenko. That's what he want to share the ring with over there in Australia. That's all. He didn't really have no genuine intentions to fight Devin Haney off the back. So we heard in the first presser, the back and forth. We even heard the orator, you know what I'm saying, refer to Devin Haney as a boy. And then, Judge Kambosos, not just refer to him as a boy, but refer to him as a boy in front of his father. And then George Kambosos came out of his mouth and said, boy, referred to him as a boy, right? I'm not sure if I ever heard him refer to Teofimo Lopez, Mickey Bay, Lee Selby, any of them boxers as boys. I just don't remember seeing any video out there where he was referring to them as boys, right? So he take it upon himself for this particular fight, whatever he's trying to do, everything I pretty much put out there came to fruition. He was going for Lomachenko. He didn't get the fight due to, ungodly circumstances. And now he had to revert back to fighting Devin Haney. Now, this recent presser, I'm going to play some sound bite for you. It's not long. Okay? It's not extensive. But I just want you to understand where we at in 2022. I want to help you understand that, your voice, you should always have security on your voice. You should always have security in your voice, especially text, especially when you're in a competitive sport and you're speaking to someone in the same division as you. Final presser, we already understand Bill Haney is not on deck with Devin. So Devin had to go to the presser, not by himself. He had his people with him. But it was a one-on-one situation with him and Kambosos. And once again, with his bright colored hair, you know what I'm saying, and that carnival of a mouthpiece that he has, he had this to say, okay?
No, I really don't know how they let this guy into the country, to be honest. I don't think they let informants into the country. This guy's an informant. This guy's a rat. I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Because in the TFM Lopez fight against a foreigner, his own countryman, he was messaging me, telling me all the details, every bit. Teo at the hooker lounge, Teo having problems with his wife. This is the kind of person. This is the kind of person. This is a rat. This is a rat. This is a snitch. This is an informant. And you know what? This is your countryman, your own countryman. You're going behind his back. So you know what? On Sunday, I'm gonna whip your ass. And you know when you get back to Las Vegas, you'll be on the lookout for Teo from Lopez.
Okay, this is my take on this, right? That was snitching one-on-one. All right. Big dog in the building. Salute to you. Mark Nash on deck. What it do? This is snitching one-on-one. It doesn't get any clearer than this. What he just did was the same thing he's accusing Devin Haney of doing. Because why is it relevant to this fight that he talk about what happened on a previous fight? You should be satisfied with picking up the straps. You have the straps, Kambosos. So there's no need for you to be a clown and bring up information amongst two men, regardless of if Haney was telling him that shit. I don't find it too severe about shit that was already out in public. Real talk. Like that shit with him having problems with his wife. Hey, that was out in public. You know what? I knew that before that when they was engaged, man. I knew all of that stuff long before a lot of people knew about it. That's real. I knew the situation, the mom not liking the fiance and stuff like that. You know, he had conversations off record. This is people in his camp. So I don't take too much of offense that, Devin Haney, if he did, mention to Kambosos that he was having problems. That wasn't anything detrimental. And then he's up here talking about he's at the hookah lounge. Okay. It's a lot of fighters out here that their way of sustaining themselves in between fights are different. Some drink, some smoke. It all depends, man. Once again, I didn't think it was something that was so detrimental, so important to the public that you had to bring this shit out to sell the fight. Now, one thing you have to pay attention to what Kambosos said. He called Devin Haney an informant. An informant is one of these positions that is so easily adapted. And I said this before on my live. I said, if you want to get black people to turn on one another, all you have to do is tell them a lie on another black person that they're close to. And, that's how you start the shit out. Because it happens a lot. Real talk, it happens a lot. So for him to mention this informant shit on a black fighter, He's really playing that card. He's really playing that card. That's what Kambosos said. He's trying to play the card on the edge of having people trying to figure out what's his angle on this entire trash talking shit. Is it a bit prejudiced and discriminatory or racist, racial, or he's just talking trash? You know what I'm saying? Because what he's doing, he's just playing around with the listeners. A lot of when it comes to black people, being called a rat is not something that sit well in the community. Even though there are rats in every community of ethnicity, when it comes to blacks and he's fighting a black fighter, people always, frown upon individuals who have chosen that route. And they're plentiful. These motherfuckers are plentiful, okay? Even if it can be your family member too. But peep this out though. He decided to bring this up. He decided to bring this up when he's stepping in the ring with Devin Haney. It has no relevance to this fight. He just want to bring it up and call somebody a rat while he's doing the exact same thing that he's accusing Devin of. He's talking about something Devin told him allegedly when he was fighting Teofimo Lopez. So you're snitching on a private communication that you and Devin Haney had. You know what I'm saying? What is it going to do? Are you trying to sell the fight or are you trying to sabotage the fight? And then furthermore, I don't think any one of us believe that Kambosos is the one up here trying to get Bill over to Australia. My assumption is that he had a little bit to do with a lot with Ben Davison and Bill Haney not being over there. Let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. Ben Davis is not allowed in the country either. Bill Haney's not allowed. I mean, that's really some pusillanimous type shit. For real, that's cowardice. You either want the fight, you're not scared of Devin Haney, you want the fight on level playing field, get the fight, goddammit. Why are you going to say, oh man, I'm going to take this to the extreme, man. I'm going to take this to the bottom. I'm going to have him begging for mercy. Y'all hold on for a second. Okay, we back. So, coming up to this fight, right? Him bringing in all these little sentiments that kind of rub black people the wrong way. Calling a man a rat. One thing, within my community, you don't want to be considered a rat, even though there are rats thriving in every ethnicity. All right, even blacks. But he want to call him a rat. He want to stoop to the lowest form to say he's an informant. So you're trying to say a private conversation about someone else that's absent of criminality. That's just gossip. That's just banter. That's just conversation between two men. You're snitching on someone that had a private conversation about another man that's not criminal. It's non-criminal. Now I understand where he's going with it. He's trying to call Devin Haney an informant to bloviate the situation. To put him in a light where other fighters look at him like, man, he can't be trusted. That's what George Kambosos is trying to do. He's trying to say, man, y'all can't trust him, but we can't trust you either, bro. We never trusted you. You lied to the fight fans. Look, you lied to the fight fans from day one, bro. You lied to us, man. You said you was absolutely gonna clear up any doubt, leave no doubt who's the best in the lightweight division. You made it perfectly clear that your intentions were gonna be directed towards going for that WBC title Devin Haney had. All alone, you get in a press conference and you say, I could have fought the garbage man. You know what? I believe you too. I believe you. I believe you didn't really want this fight with Devin. And furthermore, it played out clearly for everybody to see that you was kind of trying to sun the man. You know what I'm saying? You was trying to sun him. When we seen you in Vegas and you put your hand on there tomorrow, I gotta see you. You don't have to see shit. He already has fight film out there for you. What you gotta see? You ain't gotta see shit. You're up here trying to sun him, put your hand on his shoulder and say, we'll see. We'll see. I have to see. But see, what Devin shouldn't have been so open was to say he'll fight this man on Jupiter. You know, because even though some people, like you heard Roller Romero tell Gervonta Davis after Gervonta said, you said I won on camera. You said I beat Isaac Cruz. And then, Roller Romero mentioned, yeah, I had to say that if I want to get this fight. All right. So coming around full circle, I don't put too much merit in Devin Haney said I'll fight you on Jupiter, because I truly felt that he wanted to fight by all means necessary. They wanted to fight, but Kambosos didn't. Kambosos didn't want this fight. He wanted to fight Lomachenko, a much older fighter. You know what I'm saying? He wanted a much older fighter, complexion for the protection. And he felt that Lomachenko would fit in real nice as a three-weight champion, two-time gold standard Olympian, would fit real nicely over there in Melbourne. He felt that, Lomachenko would be a better fit, for real. That's I'm telling you straight up, Kambosos never wanted to face Devin Haney to begin with. So since God played his role and Lomachenko had to go over there and handle situations that's out of control of the Lomachenko camp, he had to revert back to Devin Haney. Imagine how that works. Listen to the rest of it.
For you too. Trust me. And if you don't believe me, I'll probably have to shut up his presser. Yes or no? Was it?
Did you just hear what he said? He said he will pull it out after this presser. He will show them. This is informant communication, the format 101, snitching 101. He's willing to produce documentation, bro. Isn't that what you hear in the media all the time about snitching? Evidence, receipts, text, audio, visual. That's exactly what he told the people. If you don't, what is going to happen to Devin Haney? Is it going to derail the fight? I mean, what the fuck are you talking about, Kambosos? I've been on Kambosos since day numero uno, dog. I'm the one start referring to him as Kambosos because he came off as a clown, as a person that's basically putting on a facade in a different character. He's trying to set up here since he finally made it to the grand stage. He's been trying to fool everybody. That's exactly what's been going on with him.
Yes or no? That's right. That's a rat. That's a rat. Is that a rat? That's a rat. That's an informant. That's a rat. What was the consequence? Yes or no? Were you not ratting on your own country? What was the consequence? Were you not ratting on your country? I had both sides of it. If he won, I would fight Tio. If you win, I would fight you. But were you not ratting on your own countrymen? Yes or no? How did you that first message me? You know the definition of this guy acts like a gangster here, and that gangster is as fake as that belt, okay?
See, that's one thing I disagree with. I never felt that Devin Haney acted like anything. And that one, once again, you have these low-level derogatory remarks being spewed by George Kambosos. And all those low-level remarks is kind of, stereotypical stigma that is placed on black men. A gangster. See, somebody's been obviously going over conversation with him because he said gangster because it's a bit more antiquated than thug. All right. He know Devin Haney hadn't been out here acting thuggish, and that would have kind of ruffled a lot more feathers that he was trying to be racist if he would have said a thug. So he said gangster. Now, I'm just trying to determine where on his IG or anywhere else that you seen, Haney out here being gangster though. This dude is going every bit against the motherfucking grain when it comes to damn prejudice type comments. He's trying to show the world in a subliminal way with what he considered lighthearted subliminal shots. He's trying to put that out to the public so we can latch on to it. A gangster? I mean, a gangster. Do we even use that terminology really? Unless you're talking about literature. Where in his IG or his social media that we've witnessed Devin out here being a gangster? He's quite the opposite when you're talking about public figure. He's never, presented that type of mentality. Him and Teofimo Lopez had several encounters in public. And, we didn't have punches thrown, pushing, and everything like that. So there we go. We have the clown coming up with his bag of tricks. You know what I'm saying? Looking goofy as ever, doing the same shit he always been doing since day one when he was trying to get in there with Teofimo Lopez. And hopefully that, he was able to win the belts, which he did. And now he want to act like a prima donna. You got the fight to defend your titles with immersed in a contract that's the absolute horrible, the most reprehensible contract a fighter would ever want to be a part of, especially going in there for 2 12-round fights in the backyard of a snitch like yourself, Kambosos. You're the true, legitimate, bona fide snitch when you bring that shit in front of the cameras on fight week. And you want to make it a point to call your opponent, who's a black fighter, a rat. You're trying anything and everything to demean this man. But yet, what is it going to do as far as y'all stepping into the ring? Y'all both have to step into the ring. So the fact that somebody over there made sure they do their paperwork and made sure Ben Davison is not able to enter the country, and Bill Haney, 2 key components to the team, and you're trying to convince everybody on camera and tell them, hey, if you're watching, let them in. Let them in. I really don't care. Nobody's believing you. You're fake as hell. You know what I'm saying? It's very disappointing that you was able to sneak your fake ass into this equation as a mandatory and then be able to successfully pick up the belts. I really wish my boy Tio would have won that fight that night, because you wouldn't have been relevant. You would have dipped back into the damn outback, the land down under, and would have been back to where you started. Irrelevant.
This guy in like gangster, this is informed. You know what? You didn't get to see him because you missed the first press conference. You didn't get to see him. You'll see him when you want on Friday, and that's as close as you get to it.
All I gotta say is, why didn't he bring the belts to the press conference?
You didn't get to see him. You didn't get to see him. You didn't get to see him.
What was the point of even coming if you didn't bring the belts?
Hey, well, you know what? You missed out. You missed out when you
Are we fighting for the belts? Did the government put the money up for the belts? Did all the media come out because this is an undisputed fight between the two champions? Why wouldn't you bring the belts?
Official press conference on Friday. On Friday, they'll see him at the official press conference, but I ain't gonna let a rat see him today. He ain't seen him today.
So therefore, once again, George Kambosos is trying to delegate his superficial authority. All right. He feels that he can talk down in a subordinate, inferior manner towards Devin and say, you know what? You don't get to see the belts today. I'm going to hold them to the end. You don't get the opportunity. I'm not going to afford you the privilege. Okay, boy? Okay? That's what he really want to say. Okay, boy? And yeah, I feel some type of way about, the shit that goes on subliminally that people never want to talk about as if it doesn't exist. This shit exists. And there's no way, no how, that the weight is any lighter when we experience it. Do you understand? Like, what other fighter have you seen, Haney step in there with, where they had to go through this type of derogatory type, format when it came to fighters facing off and talking and shit? Like, look, I know fighters talk shit, no doubt about it. But these comments that Kambosos is putting out here, he knows exactly what he's attempting to do. He's making it a very offensive type of damn presser. And guess what? It's all up to the strength of the listener who's tuned in to identify what he's trying to do. Gangster. What does gangster have to do with this fight, and y'all both boxers? If Devin is a gangster, then you a gangster too, all because y'all lace up, y'all go in there and fight one another. Y'all get paid for that profession. Second of all, you're talking about informing a rat. You're trying to get his own people to feel some type of way about how Devin moves in this boxing community. What the fuck is that? Like, dude, just keep it on boxing. Keep it what's going on in the ring. We ain't hearing shit about what you're gonna do in the ring. And then third of all, you prevent the man from, you prevent the people. Okay, first of all, the people from bringing the belts to the presser. I mean, you're making a debacle out of this presser when you have all the puzzle pieces in play that you wanted. The fight is in your backyard. There's no rematch clause for Devin Haney. You have a rematch clause, but it's none that's solidified for Devin Haney. So he has to win the first fight. All right. We can't imagine what the next several days are going to be like. Because you heard the orator ask him, say, how is Melbourne doing? How's you like Melbourne so far? And Devin's like, I haven't had a chance to see it. I've been resting. Of course he ain't out. He ain't trying to get sabotaged. They have to be on strict security over there to make sure Devin makes it to the ring, dog. This is huge. This is huge. And people are not looking at the underlying factor, like you have the Bella that's a part of this also. The Bella is trying to come back and keep these belts as much as possible. He's trying to, rise back up to prominence. Of course, when you have a fighter that has all the belts, you want to make as much money off him as possible. So he's not trying to see Kambosos go in there and lose these titles. I just think, people should identify this clown for what he is. I called it. I was the initial one to put this shit out here. This thumbnail went up easy when I kind of felt his energy on the shit he was trying to play. You know what I'm saying? When he went on a media tour trying to check out motherfucking Devin and Javante and goddamn Lomachenko. He never had Devin Haney in mind. His primary target location was Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko, a man who lost to Orlando Salido, and most recently, several months ago, he lost to Teofimo Lopez. Then went on to fight Teofimo Lopez leftovers, Masayoshi Nakatani and Richard Comey, and went the distance with Richard Comey when Teofimo stopped him in 2, and that was for a belt. But yet, George Kambosos wanted Lomachenko, who's the more older, antiquated fighter. He wanted him in the ring instead of anybody else, instead of the younger Haney. He owed him no country, loyalty. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. What's good? Peace, Scotty. Salute, veteran. Salute to you, man. Plus, I think we all believe Tio wasn't going to fight Devin next. Anyway, I don't even look at this as a Tio situation because, all the handshaking, grip and grin photos and all the debacle they played out on YouTube. Nobody seriously that's close to this community took that shit serious. You know what I'm saying? Come on, we all seen it play out. With Bill and Singh. We never thought that fight was gonna take place. Never. We never. T.O. made his decision to fight the mandatory, and that's what the results were. You know what I'm saying? The results was what they were. He came out to 50 Cent. They can use our music. They don't work. They can steal our culture and swag. Come on, man. Come on, bro. They don't have no problem doing that. If you get close enough to them, they'll try to damn spit the lingo too. We have USA trainers that coach foreigners. Are they betraying their country too? I just feel like he said what he said just to antagonize, Devin, because for some reason, Devin has been around affluency for a long time. So there might be a little bit of jealousy in there from Kambosos because, with Kambosos, he said he had to fight outside his country for 5 years. He keep mentioning that. I had to go out 5 years away from that's the life you chose in boxing, bro. You coming off 2 split decisions before you stepped in the square with Teofimo Lopez. So it wasn't like you was doing this shit that was dynamite. You wasn't that guy, bro. I be on deck with it. Salute to you. W says, what up, OG? You've been applying hella pressure. I appreciate you, man. Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz, yes, sir. In the USA, many pick ethnicity over nationality. Does that mean they're rats and snitches? No, you just root for who you root, and that's okay too. We all know T.O. and Devin have had blood for a long time. George reaching with the snitch angle. Shout out to OTB in the building. Salute to you, my brother. Salute WCS, the big homie. Salute to you, Brown on Boxer. What's good? D Ray on deck with it. Salute. So let me talk about the snitching situation that you said that was reaching, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's kind of when it comes to boxing, man, you really got to play. No, I put it this way: you really have to have a distinct listening ear to the sneak dissing that goes on in this sport. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these prominent sports are team sports, but when you got a combat sport, this is not the first time we've heard somebody bring up personal shit. Like Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor brought up some personal shit when he was trying to, when he was selling the fight with him and Floyd. He brought up some personal shit. And plus, he's one of the only fighters that I've seen ever slap Floyd, pat Floyd on the head with his right hand, and Floyd has a bald head at that time. Conor McGregor patted Floyd on the head with his right hand. And you already know. See, I don't have to tell anyone else, how low down that is when it comes down to it. That's all I'm saying, man. George Kambosos has been playing this game for quite some time, man. And I told y'all he was fake. But he's bringing up all this gangster shit, the rat shit. Every derogatory comment that he's talking about evolves around what? Street stigma, the street mentality that they try to put black men in. They try to put us in a street mentality. That's what we doing. He really wanted to say thug, though. Somebody told him, "No, don't say thug. They're gonna catch on to you." But to be honest, they didn't catch on when we called him a boy. They didn't catch on when we called him a boy. Yeah, but a boy, we're foreigners. They can say we don't know any better, but you call him a thug. It might be something else. They knew what they was doing. Real talk. They knew what they was doing. He really wanted to say thug, but he just thought that would just absolutely drive the motherfucking nail right through the heart. It's like, oh shit, this is the attention that we wasn't expecting. We didn't want this attention. Because look, I'm gonna be honest with you, George Kambosos ain't earning no motherfucking fans by the way he went about doing this. This is one of the most reprehensible contracts. I'm talking about in a trifecta. Yeah, we can praise Devin Haney for taking it because he wants to step in the ring for the undisputed. But you got to look at Kambosos, man. You have to look. Once again, I try to tell you all. I said I was in NYC, and I said I spoke to who? I spoke to his people. I try to explain to you all what was in store, man. But y'all keep thinking I got to have a 1,000 motherfuckers in the live chat. I said I spoke to his people, and they said they're going where the most money is at. Right then, you should have put all the damn puzzle pieces together to know they wasn't going for Haney. They said we going where the money is at. And the money in their thought process was Vasyl Lomachenko, y'all. I told you when I was out in NYC. Everything can't be on record because you won't get the information. But if you speak to somebody, and ask them the questions, you can kind of get the information. They say they're going where the money's at, where the most money is at. And they was trying to get Lomachenko. If Lomachenko wouldn't have that situation going on with Ukraine and Russia, we would have been seeing Lomachenko in the situation. Now, I'm not sure if Lomachenko would have been afforded the one-way rematch clause. I'm curious if it was Lomachenko, would it have had a bilateral mutual rematch clause where regardless of who wins the first fight, it's a rematch. You know what I'm saying? I think Lomachenko would have had just a little bit more, just a little bit more sugar to it, to sweeten that shit up a little bit. I don't think it would have been as acerbic as this contract that Devin Haney's in. That shit is, oh my God. That's a tough double. You have to win the first, and then if you're able to win the second and defend your titles, you change levels in your boxing life and your legacy. So us back here, of course, we room for Haney to bring the belts back to the U.S. Of course. I hear the people that's up there going for Kambosos. That's just the same motherfuckers that was going for Tyson Fury that didn't support Deontay Wilder. The shit is always like that. But in this particular case right here, man, it's one of the worst scenarios a boxer can be in. Not only do you have to go over there and acclimate to Australia once, you win the titles, you can celebrate, but then we have to see how shit plays out. Devin Haney going back over there to defend the titles, or what's going to happen with that? Because I told you the best way to bust Kambosos to the white meat, for Devin to win these titles and move up to 140. Fuck it. I don't know how he would what repercussions that would be contractually, but at least he won those titles and became the first boxer to ever do it, from the franchise all the way down to the WBO with the ring included, and don't even allow Kambosos the opportunity. Now, I don't know if contractually he can do that. He can retreat, but he shouldn't even provide him the opportunity. If you win the titles, you become undisputed. He cleaned out the entire lightweight division, the first to ever do it in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? The first to ever do it, y'all. He would become the fourth franchise champion in the lightweight division. But with Devin Haney's achievement, he would have collected all the belts to include the one he already had in his possession, all the way down to the WBO. It would have clearly said the first undisputed champion in the franchise era. He would be the first to ever do it. Now, if you're thinking about what people are going to say about Devin, if he chooses to abort mission after he wins and move up to 140 or whatever, nothing. Because the same people that's up here talking about the contract is fucked up, they should also take in consideration that it's a smart move. Don't go back over to Australia a second time. Fuck all that. Abort mission and go on about your career. You know what I'm saying? Abort mission, go on about your career. You was the first to ever do it. Now you have undisputed. You have a notch higher than Teofimo Lopez, actually, if you're able to pull this out. Both bragging rights and on paper, as far as your credentials goes. Because Teo never had Devin's belt. Devin would have the entire slate of crowns in his ownership. So that's a big deal, y'all. Jay Ocho on deck with it. T said, Cambo knew what he was saying. Cambo is trying to make the pressure exciting like Tank Roley, but he just saying the wrong things. He may be trying to make the pressure exciting, but you're trying to insert words. It's called cacology, right? You know what I'm saying? Wrongful use of words. You know, and he's batology. You know, you're basically inserting words that don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to inject words into a narrative, which is all wrong for the intent you're trying to make it out to be. You're trying to make the press conference exciting, but yet it's becoming dreadful to watch because you're calling your opponent a gangster, which he doesn't present that. Gangster? You know what I'm saying? You call the man boy already in another presser. And now you're talking about he's an informant and a rat. They can't believe that they let a rat. Look, this is why it's all wrong for Kambosos, because you're questioning how Devin was led into your country, but yet you're trying to sell to the public that you want to step in the ring in front of 80,000 and you want to fight at home because you've been on the road so long. So how are you trying to sell the fight that how can your country let Devin Haney in here when you were successful, you and whoever else was successful in stopping Bill Haney and Ben Davis from coming over there? Two key players on his team. So you're telling on yourself. And I like one thing Devin Haney said. He said, man, he pretty much he said, when are you going to stop this? You know, when are you going to stop this facade, man? This isn't who you are. This isn't who you are. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to act like you some motherfucking mob boss, this hit man? Why are you trying to come off to the people like you that guy? Stop it. But if you listen to what Kambosos said, he's telling on himself. He's snitching on Devin and he's snitching on himself. He's basically saying, how can Australia let someone into the country that's an informant? So that means you have some type of concern about people coming over there for this particular fight, because this is the one that kicks off everything. And you was a coward and prevented two key players on this team from coming into the country. A lot of people will say, yes, it's a dirty game, but that was a nice chess move. Yeah, look, we all know you could say it's a chess move, but do you want him at 100% with his team there? Your team is there. I mean, your team is there. Seriously, your team is there. Why go through the extreme and say, you know, we're going to make sure the government pay attention to the history of Bill Haney and Ben Davison, okay? Now, granted, listen to me now. Mike Tyson had already been over to Australia. We already know what the paperwork says on Mike. This makes it even more petty for Kambosos. Not that, you know, just the whole factor of Bill Haney and Ben Davison not being on deck right now as we speak. They're trying to make it seem like that no way, no how you can get in here if you committed this, and this. But yet, Mike Tyson came over there to supposedly, quote, air quotes, speak to troubled youth and everything and all this other shit. But you let him into the country, though. After you said we have strict guidelines. But Mike Tyson, a guy who went away and was incarcerated for a crime, he was able to come over there. I'm just saying he was able to come over there. So what's the excuse? Please, somebody enlighten me. What's the fucking excuse, y'all? Speaking all facts, but that bozo talk out to 50, they emulate whatever we do. Yeah, of course, the foreigners like Japan, man, they got our culture down to a T. You know what I'm saying? Floyd wasn't gonna mess 500 million for a pat on the head. I ain't even mad at Connor. I look, I wasn't even trying to say what he was gonna mess up, but I'm just saying the fact that he just allowed that pass to happen that was so disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I was just comparing the severity. It doesn't happen like that all the time. You know, especially with somebody the stature of Floyd Mayweather on that level, to allow someone like Conor McGregor, who he wasn't really truly friends with, but to allow a man to come in here and downplay who you truly are. You know, you TBE. You know, you're downplaying my status of what I contribute to combat sports. So I'm going to pat you on the head with my right hand. It was just disrespectful. That's all. I really believe if he beats Cam, it's so one-sided we might not even see his twice. I think it's going to be twice, bro. Absolutely. I think it's going to be twice. The people rooting Cam are the TO fans who are no longer can say Devin didn't face a champ. That narrative is dead now. I agree. But you know, for the environment for which he has to go in there and cross the battle lines, it's unpleasant. Combat is unpleasant. But let's not get it twisted with Memorial Day, where the fallen service members has lost their lives in combat, vice, you know, a unregulated sport where you can go in for a certain amount of time, compete, and leave and go on about your business. In combat, that's not the case. You go out there for a long period of time and you go home when they say you go home. There's type of restrictions. But in both settings, individuals can lose their life. But not to make it about Memorial Day. I'm just saying you're sending this man in here stressed. He doesn't have prominent role players in his corner. You know what I'm saying? That went through training camp with him. I'm not sure how long Team Haney was aware of this. I'm just curious of how long they was aware that they may not be able to get in the country. I just don't see it already, you know, just popping up all of a sudden and say, hey, I can't get in. No, they had to be aware. Once this fight was going to be made, it had to be something mentioned to the point where they say, hey, you're not going to be able to come over there. I'm just letting you know you're not going to be able to come over there. And it was probably some back and forth or whatever. But, you know, it's one of those situations where, let's just say Devin Haney wins this shit. Is Bill going to be able to come over there? Ben going to be able to come over there for the rematch? If there are, then people are going to look at it like, damn, they was really fucking them over because they're over here for the rematch. Why weren't they able to make these concessions for the first fight? That's the fucked up part about it. The people rooting. Okay, I read that. Shout out to Jay Grant on deck. That's where it comes down to, man. You know, real talk, man. This dude's up here talking about snitching, rat. Those are all the damn verbiage. You know what I'm saying? Those are all the words that people, you know, place stigma on, especially when it comes to black people. They place an extensive amount of stigma, you know, within our own community too. When you call somebody a rat, people browse right. Oh, for real, he is? They don't even ask questions. They just listen to one-sided lies. Some is truth, but you know, you want to spread a lie. Just say a black man within the community, you know, where he's trusted amongst his people, he's an informant. That's all you got to say. And then that shit gonna go on for months and months and months. But I'm gonna tell you, goddamn it, Kambosos, you are the absolutely informant. You have been practicing to say this shit in front of the camera. You was anxious. You couldn't wait. You were salivating. You finally took it upon yourself. Say, you know what? This is going to hit deep. So I'm trying to say, like, do you not give a fuck about people tuning in to watch the fight? Or you just trying to damn absolutely sabotage it like you did the contract? Like, it seems like you might have been, one of the primary voices at the negotiation table and say, hey, first of all, let's come up with deterrence. We need to come up with deterrence. First deterrent, let's see who we can prevent on his team from coming into the country. Mate, you understand? All right, let's get it going. First, his pops. Didn't he have that situation 60 years ago? Yeah, put him on there. Bill won't be coming over here. Kambosos started to come up with plans and shit and making bulletized list of distractors, man. To start breaking this shit down. And then he went on YouTube. Somebody mentioned him coming out the 50 Cent Mini Man. Listen, they have no problem with listening to the music because they're trying to do the same thing that the U.S. fighters do. A lot of black U.S. fighters, they cater to the Mexican colors. Some European fighters that come over here and they might feel that, all they have to do is just fit in a little bit, find me a black fighter that I can kick it with. You know what I'm saying? Find me a black fighter I can kick it with. What up? What up? Quote some lyrics off one of the songs that's hot and popping. I'm just saying. Him coming out the 50, it is what it is. Man, come on now. He don't have no problem with that shit. But to say the man is an informant, who let him into the country, you just told on yourself. Because really what he's doing is putting out there that, look, Bill and Ben wasn't able to get into the country. How did Devin get over here? But see, the goofy cowardice part about what he's saying is that he really didn't want Devin to be in that position over there in Australia anyway. So now that he's over there, he's going to try to act like, he's informing, he's a snake and telling, pretty much snitching on himself that he was up here accepting the Texas, didn't say anything about it prior to stepping in the ring with T.O. That Devin Haney was saying that he was having problems. Man, dude, everybody in the media knew that shit about T.O. having problems with his wife. That wasn't anything new. Him being at the hookah lounge. It's fighters that go to the club all the time. Why is Kambosos? Like, look, nobody's goddamn motherfucking kicking you out, from the outback when you out there at 1:00 in the morning, fucking around with them damn Joeys and them kangaroos out there. When you out there, goddamn, getting all intimate. Look, Kambosos is the type of dude that go out here and really try to ride around in the kangaroo pouch. For real, he seems that goofy. That motherfucker be out there, trying to get intimate. The real snitch in this entire situation is Kambosos. Remember that, y'all. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But man, hey, y'all wish Devin Haney this week, man. He has to go in there and contend at the end of the calendar week. Man, wish him nothing but the best for bringing those titles back to the U.S. And I know it's gonna be people who root for who they want to root for. It's all good. I ain't worrying about that. But understand this: Never forget that George Kambosos, I called it for what it was early. He is absolutely the snitch of all this. So no matter what he says about Devin, it doesn't make a difference, because what he did was the same thing he was trying to accuse Devin of doing. And we all know he didn't want this fight in the first place. So treat it as that. This dude's a fraud, man. Devin has to go in there and outbox this dude and make it definitive. He has to go in there and make this shit definitive. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He has to put on the Dimitri Bivol versus Canelo Alvarez performance. Even though they're going to try to rob him, potentially, he has to make that shit so concise that they can't. He has to fight a smart fight. He don't have to go in there and bang with Kambosos. Go in there and box. It's called the sweet science for a reason, Devin. Go in there and handle your business, bro. You can get this shit done. Bring the titles back. Goddamn, you and Bill and everybody else talk their shit. You went in the enemy territory and picked up the titles. But I'm really not the one. Anyone who knows me, I'm really not the one who want to prognosticate the worst outcome possible. But it's gonna be very interesting heading into this weekend, bro. It's gonna be very interesting. I mean, I don't want to sit up here and give you 1,000 scenarios on how they can set this fight up for Devin's demise. I want to keep it on an upbeat type of level. You know what I'm saying? I want him to get the titles. I want to, give Kambosos a good lesson. Beat the color out of his hair. You know what I'm saying? He's going to come in there with all those bright colors and shit. You know what I'm saying? Hit him in his big red nose, for real. That's all you got to do. Hit him in that big ass red nose. And he had them big floppy shoes on. Step on his motherfucking toe once or twice, goddammit. Pop him in there, double up on the jab and shit. And step on his motherfucking lead foot. A clown is not used to being in that situation with a boxer. Devin has better boxing skills than Kambosos, but we can't take Kambosos lightly because he can fight. He can fight, y'all. That's no denying that he can box. He can get it done. Smooth Groove on deck with it. What's good? He said this is about to be a Mayweather versus Gotti type of beating. Imagine that. Imagine that shit. I just wanted to be a triple beating because Kambosos deserved it. I want this shit to be so motherfucking one-sided that, when it comes down to it, Haney bring the belts back, finally people can look at it and say, okay, you can't bring up no Alfredo Santiago, Abdul Abdullayev. You can't bring up none of that shit. Gamboa. You can't bring up that. You can't bring up Jorge Linares. You can't bring up Giorgio Diaz. You can't bring up none of that shit. But you can bring up Kambosos, who beat Teofimo, who beat Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? You can bring up all that shit. That's new updated information. So Devin, go in there and get that shit, man. Salute to you, man. Appreciate everyone for pulling up. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.